you can do this much damage at level 1. Talismans, armor, incantations, consumables, and, of course, weapons are the primary way you get stronger in Elden Ring. Therefore, I have a problem here. You'd probably assume that a game called Elden Ring would have a lot of rings, but it doesn't. In the entire game, there are a total of just 2 weapons, 1 armor set, 5 spells, and 1 Ash of War that I can use in this run. 0 talismans, 0 summons, and 0 consumable buffs. Other than flasks. Because I'm bad. I spawned into this world as a beautiful, completely normal hedgehog, devoid of both rings and maidens. At this point, I have precisely 0 things that I'm allowed to use, so I simply accepted the sweet embrace of death. Asphalt Legends Unite! Over 250 hypercars, incredible graphics, cross-platform multiplayer, and absolutely insane maps with roller coasters, aquariums, and even a giant neon octopus. You can experience it whenever or wherever you want on your PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, Steam Deck, Android, or even iOS device. If you feel the need for speed, and by that I mean the need to run into a wall at 200 miles per hour, Asphalt Legends Unite was made for you. It's detailed yet arcadey and fun gameplay translates super well across platforms, which is great considering that it's available on basically all of them. You could probably play this thing on a Nokia after using it to smash open a coconut, or maybe alt-tab it on one of NASA's computers mid-launch. Asphalt Legends Unite, just released, and by getting in early you can get tons of rewards to get you started. You can scan this QR code or use my link in the description. Do it. Now. Now at this point, my only minor issue is that I can't deal a single point of damage to any enemies until I find some rings to hit them with. I wandered around aimlessly until encountering a homeless man nearby. For some reason, he sells armor, made of rings. This is quite literally the only armor set in the entire game that I can use, but how am I gonna get 4,500 runes? Wealth redistribution. From dead people. To me. Plus recording fights between unhoused individuals while screaming World Star at the top of my lungs. After mere minutes, I could afford to cover my disgusting, naked body in several hundred glorious rings. Fortunately, my immaculate ring-based drip managed to attract this maiden who immediately kneeled down and proposed to me. Ring identified! I turned her down, of course, but I managed to seal the ring, which appears to summon a magical donkey. At this point, immense violence is becoming a bit of a necessity to advance any further. The first ring that I can possibly acquire to hit things with is just east of Volcano Manor. To get there, I need to acquire both halves of the Dectus medallion. The first half was in this castle where I easily... just gotta dodge a little bit, stay away from the fire barrels, at least. Well, yeah. Not like that. Somewhat easily. Ran past some soldiers and grabbed it. Unfortunately, the other half is in the middle of New Jersey. After grabbing a bit more codeine, I hopped through this random wormhole, found an even wealthier grave to rob, and got 2,000 more runes by baiting this sentient bowling ball into rolling off a cliff. To be explicitly clear, this was a fully calculated decision, and not me blindly panicking and getting lucky. What did I fucking see there? Why do I have 2,000 runes now? Somehow, despite the extensive dragon breeding program, this is the least rodent-infested building in New Jersey. As only a small amount of clean water had seeped into the local drinking lead recently, the vermin were easy to evade, so I grabbed the second half immediately. Now I can use the Lift of Dectus. But that doesn't get us directly to the Volcano Manor. For that, we need an invitation from Raya. After a brief detour... there's some... Good to know. Noted. Her quest took me all of 90 seconds, and now I just need to get to the lift. Which would have been easy if I didn't take a wrong turn and get lost in Viet Cong territory for 20 minutes. Oh, what's up, Turtle Man? What in the motherfuck was that? Aw, man! Oh, no. Oh, I'm just so lost. Born to eat books, forced to read them. Oh! I went in a circle. Fuck off. God damn it. Still, without hitting a single enemy for a single point of damage, I made it to the lift. I got a fucking medallion. I fought for this thing. by running and not fighting. I definitely deserve it though. I'm really cool. Despite the worrying lack of any railings or other OSHA-compliant regulations, I made it up unscathed. Raya, the second maiden who appreciates my immaculate ring-based attire, invited me to meet her parents. Naturally, I refused to look any of them in the eye and immediately sprinted in the opposite direction. The weapon I'm looking for is all the way over here, which would be fine if there weren't a large number of horrifying creatures who want to eat me blocking the path. Can that shoot? Yep! It can shoot that up. After several attempts, I made it to the first word hero's grave. Now I just had to avoid a gigantic chariot of death and several skeletons before wading through a large pit of lava. This is why I grabbed the armor before coming here, as well as pretty much every rune that wasn't nailed down on the way here to boost my vigor. But it turns out it actually wasn't that bad, and I would have been fine regardless. But here is my grand prize. The ringed finger. Oh my god, we're doing significantly more than 0 damage. After a little exploration, there's a hole filled with potential mistakes to be made, and I intend to make those mistakes. Eat my finger. That worked. I headed back to Stormvale Castle and killed Morgott on the first... No, I jumped too early. Second try. Cower in fear. You're dead, big dog. You got killed by a fucking hedgehog. You don't get to talk shit when you get killed by a fucking hedgehog, bro. The ringed finger feels like the starter club, but quite a bit slower. Its entire strength is this shit. The unique Clawflick Ash of War deals a ton of HP damage, 30 poise damage, and most importantly, knocks most small enemies onto their ass for long enough that you can just use it repeatedly with 0 risk. This clip is the only example of that from this entire run though, because it just feels gross. I am absolutely going to be using it against larger bosses to get more stance breaks though. Godric the... Gross took about 50 heavy attacks plus multiple crits, and forced me to use every single one of my flasks, but his moveset isn't too tough, so I killed him on my first attempt. And now, we stunt on him. You know I gotta hit that ring on him. Now, thus far, things have been only slightly harder than a normal run, but that's gonna change. As I get access to more talisman slots, armor sets, weapons, consumable buffs, and pretty much anything else that can make me stronger, I'm not allowed to use the vast majority of it. Things are gonna get hard. But I'm incredibly stupid, so I thought it would be a great idea to bum rush Hogwarts without any real preparation. I grabbed the key and... This dragon one-shots me, and its health bar moves about 1 pixel when I hit it. It took 7 non-stop minutes of maximum aggression to kill that fucking thing. It dropped 14k runes, getting me up to level 34 to take on the Academy. Weave. That shouldn't have worked. That was disgusting. I literally just jumping heavy attacked blindly 3 times, not knowing his animations or anything, and it worked. Wait. You came in with a real cool, like, badass intro there? My man had all the aura and none of the actual ability. Holy shit. This wolf's health bar actually moved when I hit it, so it died. This is the exact moment that things actually started getting difficult. Oh my god! Oh, fuck! Bro, they parried the shit out of me! No, fuck you, bro. I have to just do jump attacks. Fuck you. Once I figured out what they couldn't parry, I was able to grind them down with jumping heavy attacks and several flicks. To be clear, the thing I'm not allowed to do with the flick is combo it into itself. Using it once to knock enemies down, then following up with normal attacks is fine, because it doesn't completely stop enemies from attacking me. Just walk right into that. Oh, so predictable. Read like a fucking book. Rennala was a problem. Usually this is a pretty easy fight, but I'm level 36 and I haven't upgraded the ringed finger at all yet. Every phase 1 took 4 full damage cycles because my damage output is atrocious. Phase 2 is moderately hard and really just came down to learning her attacks. Yep, easy peasy, easy peasy, easy fucking peasy, easy. Not at all. That was fucking hard. I'm not gonna lie. I had a tough time there. Next, I went back to Limgrave, murdered the tree sentinel, got roofied, and woke up in the bowels of hell. No, it's the one with the homing cum. No, the homing cum. It's the worst. Bonk. I grabbed some somber smithing stones, went back to Limgrave, killed a shitty dragon, got even more smithing stones, almost got assassinated, noticed something. It's a cobblestone floor with sharp crystals on it, and you're just barefoot? You're standing on a crystal. Somebody on the dev team has a thing for feet. I guarantee that shit. And finally upgraded the ringed finger to +4, which makes a gigantic difference to my damage output. I then went back to New Jersey, grabbed the only transferable Ash of War that I can use, killed Commander O'Neill, got more upgrades for my flask, got even more smithing stones from the old Atlas tunnel, sold all my normal smithing stones because I'm an idiot, upgraded the ringed finger to +7, then realized that I needed those normal smithing stones to upgrade the short spear that I put Sacred Ring of Light on. Now, I'm not allowed to use the spear itself, but the Ash of War makes a massive ring and flings it at the enemy, so I got the shortest spear I could to minimize the chances of accidentally hitting the enemy with it while swinging it to cast a spell. The only problems are that it costs quite a lot of FP and does basically 0 damage with my current build and upgrade level. In between that whole section, I spent about 2 hours clearing out the Shaded Castle and killing Elamur of the Briar. Okay, I didn't know what I was getting into there. I may have made a mistake here. I did not know that we had fucking Bluetooth swords. There's no way for me to predict it, because it's not attached to a fucking arm. This was some of the funniest shit that I have ever recorded, but I can't figure out any way to fit it into this video, so I'll probably upload it to another channel. There should be a link somewhere, eventually, if I do that. A few golden seeds, and another Morgott later, I faced off with the Draconic Tree Sentinel guarding the entrance to the royal capital. He beat the dog shit out of me. On top of having an extremely strong moveset, he took about as much damage as Mike Tyson getting hit by a toddler, and dealt about as much damage as Mike Tyson hitting a toddler. After 30 minutes of getting my shit pushed in, I decided that I needed an easy, relaxing win to reset my mental, so I headed down to the Ariza hero's grave to fight Crucible Knight Ordovius, and the unremarkable Crucible Knight who happens to be in the same boss room. I had over 12,000 runes the first time I started this fight. This is over 2 hours of non-stop attempts later. That's barely twice as many runes as I lost, bro. That's like 1 level up. Bro, why did I even do that? Why did I even do that, though? I don't know, man. I didn't have any reason. It was just pride. What did we gain? Nothing. Was it worth it? No. I got like 2 levels and 1 flask upgrade, but after that harrowing experience, killing the Tree Sentinel felt a hell of a lot easier, and I got it on the second try. Not even a little close, albeit with about 1% of my total health pool remaining. The royal capital is beautiful, filled to the brim with great items, and I am underleveled for it. Fortunately, the solution to being underleveled for an area is to simply kill the things in that area. About 45 minutes and over a dozen levels later, I faced Godfrey, who is honestly easier than either one of the 2 Crucible Knights due to his slow, simple moveset. Despite that though, he drops a massive 80,000 runes, getting me up to level 68. The next main boss is Morgott. Given that I've killed Morgott twice and died to him once, you would probably assume that I was confident. But I wasn't. I really hate a few of Morgott's attacks, because I'm a big fan of both not having to toggle the camera lock on mid-fight, and not having both the camera and my inputs flip 3 times in the span of 2 seconds. I went to Redmane Castle and killed Radon on my second try, took out these 2 mini-bosses, entered the gigantic meteor crater that I'm directly responsible for, slaughtered some average Discord kittens, fingered myself to death, committed both necrophilia and bestiality at the same time, then reached the Gargoyle Twins. They are very tough with the massive poison AoEs and flanking so that they aren't both visible, but their individual attacks are pretty easy to deal with in melee range, so I got them on the 5th try. A couple more mini-bosses, a little bit of rune farming, and a few slaughtered champions later, I hit level 87 and was finally ready to face off with Morgott. I got him under 20% on my second attempt, but for the next 10 attempts after that, I made virtually no progress. I used all my golden runes to hit rank 89, got the ringed finger up to +7, and after another hour of attempts, if either the 6 inches that you walk forward after a critical hit didn't make me walk into those knives, or my 3 light rolls away from Morgott got me out of the seemingly inconsistent range of his stab, I would have won that. Frame, shattered. Tilt, astronomical. Sleep schedule, demolished. It was late, I was tired, but I decided to give it just one more try. Don't you fucking die before I kill you, pussy. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I consider it. Nah, no. He's done. After a couple more recreational homicides, I caught a lift from Rolled. Alright, Rolled, lift me. And now, we enter the most horrific wasteland so far. Canada. After getting immediately humbled by a bird, you don't even have leg knives. How are you... I can't fucking hit it! How do I hit you? Oh. Like that. I suffered a minor schizophrenic episode. Nope, that's not happening. That is a figment of my imagination. I am severely schizophrenic. That is a figment of my imagination. Thankfully, that isn't actually happening. Because if that was actually happening, I'd be freaking the fuck out right now. I then got killed twice by a creature that doesn't even know I exist, before finally reaching Commander Neil and his dedicated bootlickers. They beat the shit out of me. Badly. So I found Goldmask and informed his deranged stalker of his current location in exchange for both a Discus of Light and Radagon's Rings of Light. I then respect incorrectly. I went back to the Volcano Manor and grabbed the Erd Tree Seal, which has a much lower int requirement and scales far better with Faith. Discus of Light is strong. Very strong. Sacred Ring of Light is alright, but what about Miquella's Ring of Light? Well, it's an objectively better version of Sacred Ring of Light that's unique to an item with a 2% drop chance on one of the strongest and rarest enemies in the game. Farming that could take me literally days, and I don't even know if it's better than Discus of Light, so for now I'm just sticking with the Boomerang. Also, Radagon's Rings of Light is pretty good, but it's an AoE spell that is not very useful against bosses, so I didn't really use it much. Against large, slow enemies, Discus of Light fucks. Against Neil and his simps, given that it both flies through enemies, then hits them as it comes back, I was able to do up to 6 hits worth of damage per cast. Once I learned the delay on this slow motion ass attack, I took Neil down quite easily. After an enlightening encounter with the local wildlife, why is there a snow lobster on my screen right now? Why are you alive? Who made you? For what reason? Let me help you with that. Let me help you with the whole... Once again, I am humbled. Once again, my lesson is not learned. Once again, my mistakes will be repeated. Fucking snowy-ass, dumbass lobster. Ow! You probably taste like shit. What the fuck are you even good for? Ow. Killing me, apparently. But other than that... That is an honorable trade that I am willing to accept You have proven yourself, Snow Lobster. You no longer exist, I did kill you. But now you at least deserve to exist. Actually, that's Snow Lobster's based. I was just wondering what's out here, and he's just been staring out there the whole time. A fellow wanderer in this miserable universe, just staring into the void, and watching it stare back. I misjudged you, Snow Lobster. I would ask you to forgive me, but you already murdered me, so fuck you. I had a quick conversation with my favorite tinderbox, who decided it's time to take on the fire giant. I like playing first phase directly under him, as close to his delicious, pungent feet as possible, so the ringed finger felt much better to me. After he took an arrow to the knee, I just hopped on Torrent and spent 7 minutes tossing frisbees at him. Ah, would you look at that? Another sad thing happened. Would be a real shame if anything good ever happened without immediately getting shit on. This post describes my thoughts on Elden Ring's story far better than I ever could. You see an NPC. You walk over to them. A tarnished, eh? Or briefly the Mimsabro of Zalgriv. They give you the weirdest item you've ever seen, and the description contains no useful information. Next time you visit, the NPC is gone. You can't find them anywhere. 10 hours of gameplay later, you find them in a random dungeon. They're collapsed against the wall, dying in agony. Arr, me thumbly toves, thou were truly carnivorous. They're dead. They dropped an item. It's dog shit. Now it's time to enter a lovely new zone that I like to call, please get me the ever-loving fuck out of here. After getting lost for several hours because I forgot how to navigate this absolute nightmare, I reached the Godskin duo. You probably expect me to complain about the fact that there's 2 bosses in a single fight here. While getting stabbed by one enemy through the chest of another enemy who magically takes 0 damage despite the gaping hole in their lung is certainly fun, my bigger question is, why can't we just have a normal fucking boss room with a flat fucking floor and no pillars that exist for the sole purpose of giving me a forceful colonoscopy with the camera? You know what? For absolutely no particular reason, this seems like a great time to get the only other melee weapon that I'm allowed to use, which just happens to deal slashing damage and inflict bleed. Mog the Molester. I've heard that he beat the allegations with the DLC, but I just really wanted to use that sound effect. I always look at boss rooms and wonder, why isn't everything covered with magical fire that also makes me bleed from every orifice? So I had a great time killing him. Definitely in way less than 10 tries, and I didn't even need the special elixir. It's worth noting that I'm not counting Morgott's shackle as a ring, because it isn't. But around my 40th attempt, I was beginning to hope that it was some sort of magical BDSM cock ring that weighs 5,000 pounds. Still, a thorough fingering eventually took him down. This allowed me to enter the DLC. This meth addict attempted to steal my catalytic converter with his ring saws, only to realize that those were, in fact, Torrent's testicles. That drove him into a blind rage, giving me no choice but to murder him repeatedly. Is it called a ring? No. But it's definitely ring-shaped, so fuck it, we ball. Compared to most of the other backhand blades, these aren't incredible, but the moveset on these things is absolutely fucking beautiful compared to the ringed finger. Instead of fast bonk, slow bonk, and jumping bonk, I have a lunging heavy attack that can get some serious distance, one of the most satisfying light attack combos in the game, and a kind of okay-ish Ash of War, which is really its largest downside. After a quick respec, these felt absolutely great against the Godskin duo, because I could close the gap without too much difficulty, deal a fuck ton of damage with 2 to 3 light attacks, then get out before they could Eiffel Tower me. Was this fight fun? No. But was it rewarding? No. After some very fun parkour, I reached a Draconic Tree Sentinel. Now you're probably thinking, didn't you already kill the Draconic Tree Sentinel? But you see, this one is on a bridge. An angled bridge. A curved angled bridge. This is what's known as fun and engaging level design. at around 4 a.m. with my last 2 brain cells fighting for 3rd place. I made the worst decision of my life. It's as if Maliketh's entire moveset was designed for the sole purpose of being as difficult as possible to hit with the ring finger. There's not a single point where you let me get it charged heavy reliably. There really just isn't, man. The swords, however, were perfect for closing the distance during several of the Beast Clergyman's attacks, so after a while I got pretty consistent with the first phase. Not even a single hit there. Then he pulled this shit. His sword went entirely through that column. That tilted me, so I effectively bashed my head against the wall for several hours without making any significant progress against Phase 2. After many attempts, and never successfully dodging this one attack, I took him down by just playing super slow and cautious in his 2nd phase. Oh my god, man. Oh, I finally fucking did it. For me, personally, that has always been the hardest boss fight in the base game. I fucking hate that guy, man. After a brief but highly traumatizing nightmare where a masked man repeatedly suicide bombed me, I decided it was time for Melania. I unlocked a portal which brought me to a large tree that appears to have a severe syphilis infection. Getting to Melania took a while, but at least I got this, and PTSD. No. It's not even a matter of whether or not I can beat you, you're just scary enough that I don't want to try. This is the first time I have ever fought Melania. I don't have that many hours in Elden Ring, and I've genuinely just avoided her until now. So at first, it went like this. That didn't hurt me as much as I thought it would. Oh, fuck, that one did. Alright, good to know. I was barely moving her health bar, let alone getting into phase 2, but holy shit, her hurt boxes are immaculate. Is that... Oh, I jumped over it with my special, that was beautiful. That was pure luck, by the way, though. That was not skill right there. This is a fun fight, especially with the sound cues and the clear visuals. I really like that. The timings are tough, obviously. And some of her moves are really hard to dodge, but they don't feel bad. I tried swapping to the ringed finger for a bit, but the ring blades just feel so much better when it comes to closing the gap and making the most of relatively short punish windows. After just under an hour, I made it to phase 2. I don't know what this is, I'm just gonna... Running away was not the right move. She is really fun while being very hard. I genuinely think, like, I'm not a Soulsborne simp for reference. Elden Ring is my first Soulsborne game. I genuinely think this is the best boss fight I've ever played in any game, and I haven't even beaten it yet. Okay, so I need to learn how to dodge this. I'm gonna try rolling into it this time. So delayed. I need to just learn what you can do now. Yeah. No, the kick is even more brutal in this second phase. Overall, though, that feels good. Not one of those attacks felt like bullshit. Oh. I rolled into it. If I just stayed back and didn't roll, I got out. If I literally just didn't move there, she wouldn't have hit me. That is waterfowl. That is... It took me so long. It took me so long. Like, the fucking time that it takes my brain in phase 2 to register a waterfowl. It is insane. It took me so long. I'm so stupid. That's the waterfowl. Literally, you could park a fucking aircraft carrier in between the neurons bringing the thought, that is the waterfowl dance, to my brain, and then translating that to my hands. The weakness of the flesh, especially the flesh in my brain, has never frustrated me more. This is after over 5 hours of attempts. There we go. I knew that was coming. I'm at a point where I'm not routinely, but 1 in every 10 runs of the first half, just getting hit one time, like by one combo, and using 1 or 2 flasks. Oh, wait. I actually fucking got it. Why does she do that long of an animation there? Lord. Well. Shit. 46 vigor. Maxed out this. Just chain armor. Gauntlets. Flask of Crimson Tears plus 8 out of 12. And this wondrous physic for the stamina. 10 out of 10. No notes. Would spend 5 hours dying repeatedly to again. Unironically, the perfect boss. To make things interesting against Godric, I grabbed Rings of Spectral Light from the DLC. It's the only sorcery in the entire game that I can use, and it made things interesting here, by making them extremely fucking boring. Shouldn't have switched up on the homie like that. L+ ratio. Radagon's attacks fit into 3 distinct categories. Boring, bullshit, and boring bullshit. Hitboxes? Ass. Arena? Lame. Retinas? Melted. I was planning to lock myself at level 130, but I forgot just how much I hate this fight, so I folded like a wet paper towel, farmed up to 140, popped my last few rune arcs, and just absolutely brute forced this shit with the ringed finger because Radagon is resistant to every other damage type that I can use. You already know the problems with the Elden Beast. It's a long cutscene that you need to hold W and R2 for. I hit it, and eventually it died. I'd rather have my balls trapped in a vice grip until I no-hit Melania 3 times in a row than fight these dickheads normally. But overall, until the last 30 minutes, this challenge was actually super fun. There are so many ways to optimize your build and get insanely overpowered, and committing to this absolutely stupid idea brought the difficulty level right to the brink of what I could handle without snapping the single remaining thread of my sanity that survived artillery only. Oh, the DLC? Not this time. If a lot of people enjoy this video, then I'll definitely complete the DLC using only rings, or do some other Elden Ring challenges, but for now, thanks for watching. Peace out.